Y'all, grab your snacks and pour a strong one because this tea is not just hot, it's scorching. Saucy Santana, Diddy, Young Miami, and now Mama Combs. Yep, it's not just rumors anymore. There's smoke, there's fire, and we've got the whole forest blaze right here. This isn't your average industry mess. We're talking broken friendships, shady parties, cryptic tweets, and allegations that go way deeper than anyone expected. So if you've been wondering what really went down between Santana and the Combs family, stay right here because the details just got messier than ever. Let's start with the source of the flames, a clip that's been making waves across social media. It's L, clearly frustrated and emotional, recalling the gossip and damage that swirled around Santana's name. They were saying he was with him. They were saying that, L said, voice cracking with disbelief. She emphasized she never believed it, but it pissed her off not just because of what was said, but because of what it meant. According to her, people were trying to spin something out of nothing, trying to make Santana out to be involved with someone he wasn't, namely Diddy. And for L, who clarified that she doesn't even play when it comes to gay stuff, it felt like people were dragging her into something scandalous just by association. This raw emotion gave the internet what it needed. A glimpse into the fallout behind the scenes, a confirmation that something did happen, or at least that something big went down between Santana, L, and the Combs inner circle. But L wasn't the only one feeling some type of way. Santana himself has also been acting different lately, shifting from playful and flamboyant to tight-lipped and defensive whenever the topic of Diddy comes up. For fans who have been watching closely, the shift didn't go unnoticed. And now we may finally understand why. Let's rewind. For a while, Santana and Latto L were inseparable, practically glued together at the hip. From social media collabs to interviews and performances, they were bestie goals. The duo even teamed up for the track Booty Booty, a fun, loud anthem that had the streets talking. Fans loved their chemistry, their energy, and the way they hyped each other up. But somewhere along the way, something shifted. Suddenly, there were no more shoutouts, no public love, just silence. The real clue that something was off came during a chaotic moment on Latto's DJ mid-show. Santana had a complete meltdown after what was supposedly a harmless prank. At first, fans were confused. Was it staged? Was it serious? Santana later claimed he hadn't realized it was a prank, and that's why he reacted so strongly. But even that explanation left fans scratching their heads. The DJ didn't insult him. There wasn't any direct shade. So why the explosive reaction? Behind the scenes, people were starting to talk. Some speculated that Santana was feeling disrespected, not just by the prank, but by the industry as a whole. He began demanding to be taken seriously as a real artist, not just someone's funny best friend or the scene-stealing gay guy thrown in for clout. And while that's a valid demand, the way he expressed it rubbed people the wrong way. The once hilarious and carefree Santana was starting to appear bitter, defensive, and increasingly isolated. And then came the rumors. It's no secret that Diddy has long been surrounded by whispers, especially when it comes to his personal life. The man is an industry titan, but he's also the subject of relentless gossip. Much of it involving who he's dating, who he's allegedly sleeping with, and what really goes down at those infamous parties. Enter Saucy Santana. For years, there had been quiet murmurs that Santana and Diddy were close, too close. But those whispers were often brushed off as just homophobic trolling or bored internet users trying to create chaos. But things escalated during Diddy's court drama. Suddenly, people started looking back at those rumors with a fresh eye. Why did Santana go from being all up in the Combs mansion to acting like the family didn't exist? Why did Young Miami, his once ride or die, suddenly go silent too? The silence wasn't just awkward, it was strategic. According to Santana, it wasn't just coincidence. He later suggested that Young Miami herself was trying to push him into something with Diddy, even though she was dating Diddy at the time. Can you imagine? Your supposed best friend playing matchmaker for the same guy she's sleeping with. Whether it was for clout, protection, or power moves, Santana wasn't feeling it. Things quickly got messy, and the friend group that once looked like hip-hop royalty crumbled in private. Just when we thought the mess couldn't get any deeper, Latto came forward with what might be the most shocking claim yet. It wasn't just Diddy that Santana allegedly got close with, it was Mama Combs. Yes, you heard that right. Latto is claiming that Diddy's own mother leaned on Santana for comfort during her son's legal troubles, and that relationship evolved into something much more intimate. If true, that's a scandal of epic proportions. We're not just talking about a forbidden hookup. We're talking about a web of relationships that includes Diddy, his mother, Young Miami, and Santana, all tangled up in loyalty, betrayal, and maybe even ambition. The alleged involvement between Santana and Mama Combs would explain the sudden shift in his relationship with Diddy. Not only would that be seen as disrespectful, but it would create tension that even Hollywood-level PR teams couldn't smooth over. But it's not just about who did what with whom. It's about the pattern, the sudden fallouts, the explosive reactions, the shifting alliances. Santana addressing the rumors at all, for the first time ever, sent fans into a frenzy. He was always known to stay quiet, laugh it off, or brush things aside. But this time, he clapped back hard, denying any scandalous connection and calling the rumors disrespectful. And yet, Latto didn't back down. She doubled down, insisting that what she said was the truth and challenging anyone to call her a liar. As if that wasn't enough, DJ Academics and Whack 100 recently weighed in during a spicy podcast episode. When AK asked one of the boldest questions in hip-hop, whether Diddy had any connection to what happened with Tupac, jaws dropped. He didn't say Diddy was involved, but he heavily implied that there's more to the story than we know. That's when Whack 100 jumped in, spilling major tea about Diddy's legendary parties. He claimed those events had an infamous rep in the industry, invite only, phones locked at the door, and a vibe that crossed boundaries. According to Whack, these weren't just flashy celeb get-togethers. These were secret gatherings where things got real weird real fast. And guess who was allegedly part of those inner circle events? Diddy, Young Miami, Saucy Santana. The names keep popping up. The connections keep growing. And the deeper you go, the harder it is to tell what's truth, what's fiction, and what's just carefully hidden behind PR-trained smiles. If even part of this is true, it changes the way we view Santana's rise in the industry. It paints his friendship with Young Miami in a new light. It raises questions about how deep Diddy's influence really goes. And it exposes just how ruthless the game can get when fame, power, and loyalty collide. Right now, Santana is trying to recenter his image. He's focusing on music again, staying booked, and giving the public just enough to stay interested, but not too much to fuel the fire. Young Miami is also staying low-key, seemingly focused on her own projects and distancing herself from anything scandalous. Diddy has remained silent, as always, letting the courts, the blogs, and the fans talk while he moves in silence. And Latto? Well, she's still throwing jabs and standing by every word. However, the turning point came when Santana publicly snapped at Latto's DJ during a live show. It seemed like a minor misunderstanding, a prank gone wrong. But Santana didn't take it lightly. He lashed out, and it was clear that whatever had been simmering underneath had just boiled over. From that moment on, things shifted dramatically. Santana started putting distance between himself and Latto, stepping away from public appearances, interviews, and collaborations. Fans were confused and speculations ran wild. What could have made Santana walk away from such a close friend without a clear explanation? Well, now we might have that answer. According to Latto, the real cause behind the sudden fallout isn't about petty beef or industry pressure. It goes back to a late-night incident, something that happened at one of Diddy's infamous mansion parties. Latto didn't spill every single detail, but she made it clear this wasn't about bad vibes or miscommunication. Santana allegedly witnessed something that changed how he saw everything and everyone around him. What he saw involved none other than Mama Combs, Janice Combs herself, and it wasn't trivial. What exactly happened behind those velvet curtains? No one is naming names officially, but the implication is that it was serious. Serious enough to make Santana swear off the entire Combs mansion lifestyle. Serious enough to make him back away from the spotlight, from Diddy's orbit, and even from his own closest friends. According to Latto, whatever happened that night shattered Santana's image of the empire he thought he was part of. But this is where it gets even messier. Because Santana's disappearance didn't just affect Latto, it shifted his entire social orbit. The timeline reveals an eerie pattern. Right around the time Santana pulled back from Diddy's world, he also stopped hanging around with Young Miami from City Girls. Again, there was no public fallout, no callouts, just distance, silence. At first, it looked like a natural drift. But now, Santana's telling a different story. According to him, Young Miami was subtly pushing him toward Diddy. Not in a career sense, but romantically, the real kicker? She was allegedly involved with Diddy at the time herself. Imagine the triangle. Your longtime friend nudging you toward a man she's secretly seeing. That's not just awkward, it's emotionally loaded, potentially manipulative, and deeply confusing. Santana says that pressure started to weigh heavily on him. And that's when everything spiraled. First came the distancing, then came the full withdrawal. But the industry wouldn't let the story rest. It didn't help that the online chatter refused to die down. Fans were already piecing together clues, and then came the tweet that blew it all wide open. JT, also of City Girls, fired a shot on Twitter that many believe exposed the truth. She tweeted, "Carisha up, please, and this time, leave Santana home." The internet exploded. Fans immediately connected the dots. GT was referencing Young Miami, aka Carisha, and indirectly hinting at something going on between Santana and Diddy. Latto had clearly seen enough behind the scenes to believe there was truth to it, and now she was talking. While the blogs ran wild, DJ academics caught wind of the drama too. During a now viral podcast episode featuring Whack 100, the conversation took an explosive turn. Talk of Diddy's private gatherings came up, not just the glamorous parties everyone saw on social media, but the secret, no phones allowed affairs that industry insiders whispered about. Whack 100, as usual, didn't name names directly, but he didn't have to. He implied that those parties crossed lines, and that people like Santana, Young Miami, and even Diddy's mother were caught up in circles of influence much bigger and murkier than the public could imagine. And then Latto dropped her biggest bomb yet. She wasn't just accusing Santana of being close to Diddy. She was accusing him of getting involved with Diddy's own mother, Janice Combs. According to her, Mama Combs leaned on Santana for emotional support during the height of Diddy's legal drama. But what started as comfort allegedly turned into something more intimate. Fans were stunned. It wasn't just the shocking age gap or the taboo nature of the claim, it was the fact that Santana didn't brush off the rumor like he usually would. He responded, fast, furious, defensive, and that, more than anything, told people that the pressure was finally too much to ignore. Latto didn't back down. In fact, she doubled down, insisting that Mama Combs wasn't just a bystander, but a key player in shaping the Combs legacy. And if you listen to Gene Deal, Diddy's former bodyguard, that checks out. Gene has spoken publicly about how Janice wasn't just supportive behind the scenes. She was allegedly managing women tied to the Combs brand. There are even whispers that her modeling agency had dual purposes. Fashion was the front, but control was the true objective. Control of image, access, and reputation. Now let's zoom out. If all these pieces are true, or even partly true, then Saucy Santana didn't just leave a mansion. He left an empire built on image, power, and very strict, very silent rules. Walking away from that kind of system, it's not just brave, it's risky. Think about it. You're connected to one of the most powerful figures in music history. You're at parties filled with celebrities and industry titans. You're part of the inner circle. And then, one night, you see something you shouldn't. Or you're asked to play a role you didn't agree to. And suddenly, leaving isn't just a personal decision, it's a political one. Maybe even a protective one. Santana's sudden exit from the Combs orbit starts to look a lot less like a falling out, and a lot more like a strategy. A form of escape, an act of self-preservation. Because this isn't just about messy friendships and spicy rumors. It's about influence, manipulation, and systems built to protect themselves at any cost. And in that world, silence isn't just golden, it's expected. Breaking it, even indirectly, comes with consequences. At the surface level, this story looks like pure celebrity drama. Artists falling out, tweets flying, rumors spreading. But when you dig deeper, what you see is a much bigger pattern, one that stretches across music, fame, power, and secrecy. From Diddy's parties to Mama Combs' alleged control, to Santana's quiet disappearance and Latto's fearless exposure. This story is less about who said what, and more about how much truth lies beneath the gossip. Fans are split. Some believe Santana was wrongfully dragged into a web of lies. Others think he got caught up chasing clout and forgot where his loyalties were. But either way, the entire situation has exposed just how messy the industry really is and how quickly your closest allies can become your loudest enemies. So what do y'all think? Is Santana innocent in all of this, or did he play the game and get burned? Was Mama Combs really part of the mess, or is Latto reaching for attention? And most importantly, who's really pulling the strings behind these scandals? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and as always, Keep your tea hot, because this story is far from over.